some Arsenal fans a bit worried on some situations after signing Fabio Vieira. I am told that they are still in contact on Yuri Tielemans' side. So Arsenal have always been in contact on Yuri Tielemans. He's a player they really highly rate, so they are convinced that he's a top player. But at the same point, there is still no official bid to Leicester. What I am told, guys, is that Tielemans is not signing a contract extension at Leicester now or in the coming days or weeks. It's something that could be considered just in case no one will make an official proposal and will sign Tielemans from Leicester this summer. But as of today, the focus for Tielemans is still on leaving the club. So let's see if Arsenal will be fast in the coming days and will make an official bid because they need to be fast, or if other clubs will jump into this opportunity. I mean opportunity because Tielemans is out of contract next summer. He's a really top midfielder and could be a big one. So for Arsenal, it's still a name discussed internally. It's still something they are considering. Talks are still ongoing, but still no official bid. I hope to update you on Tielemans very soon with an official proposal or with another club to enter into this race.
Brother and lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. The face and voice you've just heard is of Fabrizio Romano, confirming that Yuri Tielemans to Arsenal is absolutely 100% on. It is not off. We do not have an official bid, but the deal is still on. So what we're going to do in this video, just like we did with Victor Osimhen, we are going to try to dive into the roots of this deal, try to understand where exactly is it coming from, where are we, and what is the possibility that Arsenal will get this done. Of course, we've talked about the fact that an initial bid is incoming. We've talked about the fact that the player wants to play for Arsenal, and we also talked about the total agreements that are already in this deal. So where exactly are we, and where are we coming from, and what does the future look like for Yuri Tielemans to Arsenal Football Club? That is what we're going to be talking about in this conversation. Do me a huge favor, hit the like button. Let's get to 500 likes on this video. Many you guys love Yuri Tielemans. Let's convert that love to the like button. 100% absolutely true news on this podcast, and that's why you can say I'm trying to bring you the latest and most confident, most clean content I can, right? Of course, subscribe as well if you like the content. If you're an Arsenal fan, subscribe. If you like the content, subscribe. If you don't like the content, do two things. Don't subscribe, and also you can unsubscribe as well, right? Let's get to the content. Let's start off with what we know around Leicester City and the player. First and foremost, there is a total agreement between Leicester City and Yuri Tielemans that he can leave this summer. Now the player is left with 1 year on his contract, and they have held talks with Leicester. There is no intention for Yuri Tielemans to stay at the club. The only intention for the player this summer is to leave. Arsenal is the club that is most interested. A couple of other clubs have been interested, like we shall see along the way, but Leicester are not hoping to retain Yuri Tielemans. They know that players already told them that he will be leaving this summer. He wants to leave the club and he wants a new challenge, and they have agreed to that fact. So there is no anything like Leicester refusing to sell, and there is nothing like Leicester hoping to keep the player this summer. That is not happening. Now, the other thing you need to know about this one is that Leicester City are 100% and completely ready to sell the player this summer. They have set the price tag already at 35 million euros, with a couple of reports ridiculously claiming that Leicester City will be hoping secretly to earn a little bit more than 35 million euros. Of course, my opinion about players whose contracts are running down has always been very, very easy. They should be smart signings. I don't see how Leicester City are getting 40 million from the sale of Yuri Tielemans. He's a good player. He's a classy midfielder, just like you had from Fabrizio Romano. But I do not see how Leicester get more than 35 million euros. And even with 35 million euros, it will be an absolute miracle. His contract is running down. Like I said, he's one of those, he's one of those midfielders that I think in Europe at the moment, you get him for 25, you get him for 30 million euros. That is an absolute steal. He can play for you as a left central attacking midfielder. He can play for you, in that double pivot. He's so advanced. He's, at that very, very young age, around 25, he already has a lot of experience from Monaco and now at Leicester City in the Premier League as well. I think what he'll be looking at is playing now on a more regular basis in Europe. Clubs like Arsenal can provide that, but Leicester do not have any intentions of keeping him. They have already agreed to sell him, and they are ready to get in the to listen to offers and teams, other teams to bring in their bids at around 35 million euros. That is also our grade. Now, between Arsenal and Yuri Tillemans, that is where things get a little bit very, very exciting. First and foremost, the player has already accepted to join the club, and he has accepted the fact that Arsenal are not even in the UEFA Champions League. It was reported earlier in January while we were talking about Yuri Tillemans. By that time, we were talking about it as a deal that was so far away because Romano had said it's going to be a difficult one for Arsenal to do because they might not be in the UEFA Champions League. That is one. And the next thing is that a couple of top clubs will be in for him. United, Liverpool were thought to want him. Real Madrid as well before signing Aurelien Tchouameni, and then Juventus. So the feeling in January was that it was a difficult deal. However, as reported by Goal.com, the entourage, agents, and camp of the player met with Edu in January, and there was talks and discussions about a potential summer move. While that was discussed with Yuri Tillemans, the player decided that Arsenal would be a nice project. Speaking a couple of days ago, confirming that when you want to leave a project, when you want to leave a club, when you want to change, it is not a matter of change. It is also the kind of the kind of project that has been offered to you on the table. Now, that for me, lads, confirms that we have an agreement between Yuri Tillemans. Personal terms not yet agreed, but not expected to be a problem. But we have an agreement for the player to join the side. We only have one thing to table that initial bid. Like I'll tell you later, there is no official bid at the moment. But if Arsenal can put in that initial bid, even if it's 20 million euros, what it will do, it will show Yuri Tillemans that we are serious enough, first and foremost, and it will also clear the air about is Fabio Vieira blocking the move. Now, moving on to what we also have from Fabrizio Romano. Arsenal have held intensive talks, deep talks with Leicester City about the player. However, they have not made an official opening bid. That is also confirmed. We have talked with Leicester this whole week. Talks have been reported to be going on between Arsenal and Leicester City. Very, very positive talks. However, Arsenal have not made an initial bid. He's still considered as a priority, and Arsenal do not think in any way or shape or form, Arsenal do not consider Fabio Vieira's transfer as one of the blocking, blocking blocks to this deal. Fabio Vieira is considered a number 8 and primarily in number 10. Who's going to share responsibilities with Martin Odegaard, and Yuri Tillemans is considered as Arsenal's priority in that central midfield role. That is also confirmed. Yes, there is no bid, but the player is a priority. We have talked with Leicester City intensively, and we believe a deal could be done, and we could actually structure that deal anytime soon. Now, I've also confirmed that that deal is not affected by the Fabio Vieira deal. Of course, look, the Fabio Vieira deal came in surprisingly. But before it came in, before anyone talked about it, David Ornstein, The Athletic, and Fabrizio Romano, both of them had confirmed that Arsenal's two priority signings this summer would be Yuri Tillemans and Gabriel Jesus. So both of those deals are not yet announced, but an agreement between Arsenal and Manchester City was reached. Arsenal did meet the requirements for Manchester City, the Manchester City requirements to sign Gabriel Jesus, and Leicester City are also still waiting for an initial bid from Arsenal to get the Yuri Tillemans done. Now, away from Fabrizio Romano, because he's reported very heavily around this, and is the most credible source, to report about this, but we also have something around this deal from David Ornstein and The Athletic. And this is what they've said. Arsenal could move on Granit Xhaka, Nicola Pepe, Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Matteo Guendouzi. Those deals could actually first get done before Yuri Tillemans arrives at the carpet. Listen, that doesn't mean that Yuri Tillemans is dependent on Xhaka, Pepe, Niles and a couple of other outgoings. However, what Arsenal want to do is to get Gabriel Jesus done through the window, Fabio Vieira settled in, and then get a couple of transfers, get a couple of players out of the way, and then they will work on the Yuri Tillemans deal. Because they are very, very confident. They know that this deal is going to happen. All they need to do right now is to work on the outgoings first. Xhaka's been linked with a couple of moves to Italy and Germany. Nicola Pepe as well. A couple of moves to France and Italy, and also in the Premier League. Ainsley is wanted by Nottingham Forest. Fiorentina have decided not to take Lucas Torreira. But then you have Roma waiting to snatch that opportunity. Pablo Mari could also be moving on to Udinese as well. So with all these outgoings, all these transfers, it looks like Edu will want to seal Fabio Vieira, Marquinhos, Matt Turner, and Gabriel Jesus. Pause a bit. Work on a couple of outgoings. After that is done, then we will get Yuri Tillemans down through the window. And I do not have a problem with that. I mean, I don't have a problem with Arsenal Football Club working closely, and very, very fast to get these outgoings, because, I mean, Xhaka, Pepe, Niles, all those can give you a total of around 45 to 50 million euros, and you can use that to bring in Yuri Tillemans. So then, lads, with all that information now on the table, what is the likelihood that Arsenal will get Yuri Tillemans, and what is the ratio? What do I think about this? First and foremost, the likelihood that we get Yuri Tillemans, in my opinion, is on a scale of 10, I will say 8 out of 10. Arsenal have already had deep conversations with the player. We've had deep conversations with Leicester City, and we've also had deep conversations now internally to agree that he is a priority. Now, you don't just give up on your priority signing like that by signing in a player who even doesn't play where that player, where your priority signing is gonna be coming into impact. And the other thing that I've also looked at here, and why I've decided to go with an 8 out of 10, is the fact that when you look at Yuri Tillemans and Fabio Vieira, both of them are players that you can use in the same team in a couple of various systems. If you play a 4-3-3, Tillemans could be part of the midfield three, and Fabio Vieira could be part of the three forwards up front. If you played a 4-2-3-1, Tillemans and Partey could be in the pivot, and Fabio Vieira could be among the three behind the striker. So one deal is literally not affecting the other, and the fact that we've highlighted him as a priority speaks absolute volumes to my ears. It speaks a lot to me, and I think 8 out of 10 is the likelihood that Arsenal will get this one done. The big question now: what do I think? What do I think about this move? And this is what I'm going to say. I think there's so many central midfielders out there that Arsenal could have gone for. We were interested in Vitinha. We were interested in Ruben Neves and a couple of them. But how many are really interested in joining this Arsenal and Mikel Arteta project? You want to bring in players that understand what the project is all about, and you want to bring in players that are 100% convinced that this project is going to work. And the fact that we are bringing in such quality without UCL, we are playing in the UEL, and we are bringing in such quality, for me, is absolute murder. Absolute murder. So for me, lads, it's a good signing. It's a good transfer. There is no way you can tell me it's not a good one. That man there, Fabrizio Romano, confirming that yes, it is a done deal. I'll give you one more chance to listen to him about this, and then we'll call it a video.
With Arsenal, because I see some Arsenal fans a bit worried on some situations after signing Fabio Vieira. I am told that they are still in contact on Yuri Tillemans' side. So Arsenal have always been in contact on Yuri Tillemans. He's a player they really highly rate, so they are convinced that he's a top player, but at the same point there is still no official bid to Leicester. What I am told, guys, is that Tielemans is not signing a contract extension at Leicester now or in the coming days or weeks. It's something that could be considered just in case no one will make an official proposal and will sign Tielemans from